The question has come up: is cloning real? I'll tell you something. If you're a person that don't want to hear reality checks, truth, I'm gonna tell you right now, this ain't for you. Because I'm gonna hit you with the kitchen sink and the bob gun. And if you ain't ready for it, then you're just not ready for it. We're not holding hands anymore. Only the rich minds of spiritual awareness people will get this. The rest will go to the wayside. Some things need to be addressed, and this is one of them. We need to really talk about this. The cloning issue. Some of you all have no idea of what cloning is about. You can't comprehend or muster what I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay? So enjoy the ride. I'm not one into pointing fingers. I'm not one into telling a grown man or woman what to do. Now, we're done with that. But I will have to address this in a language that everybody can understand. And that language is, I just don't understand why we have these brothers that's constantly battling each other. And I'm not, the hip hoppers, they're pretty much comatose. So they don't even have an era of this. I'm not even concerned with them dudes battling over bullshit, just rapping. Then rap is down. It's played. Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. Not unless it's something that's going to uplift somebody. That still can be needed. But most of this rap is garbage. Hollywood is done. The Lord told us in Revelation, the trumpeters have done it. Revelation 18, I think 18:22. They can't make profits like they used to. Right? Music ain't selling. Box office having trouble. A lot of times when they say they had a hit, they fudge in the numbers to make you want to go see it. Remember when a hit movie would come out? It would take damn near a year and a half before that movie hit video. You remember that? Sometimes 2 years. If it was a really good seller, like the Metrics took forever to come on video. And at that time, they had it on VHS. Blockbuster was still over. You remember that? These movies today, they come out May, and damn it, they be at the red box by August. Come on. Hollywood just ain't making that money no more, right? But let's get to the matter at hand, because I want to spend most of this time talking about cloning. Okay? But before I start it, I just want to say this, and I hope that some of you guys with broad minds can gravitate to it, and those who can't, you're going to do what you do anyway. Become a keyboard warrior. I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you feel. But I've got to say this. I think it's a waste of time. You got these brothers of Hebrew camps and these brothers of Kemet camps battling each other all over YouTube. And all they doing is going back and forth, proving Kemet this and proving Hebrew, King James. Man, this has, what is this going to solve? I mean, who's going to embrace it and go forward and go anywhere with that? This is why we have to talk about cloning, because some of them dudes, they ain't who they say they are, man. Them dudes are manufactured out of the cloning lab. I'm telling you, if you ain't right, y'all ain't ready for this today. I'm telling you, I'm gonna lay some shit on you today. And see, what I like about the Heavenly Father, He doesn't give all the information when we think we should give it. Now, a lot of y'all say, well, Yash, I've been talking about cloning for a while, but I've never went into detail the way I'm going to go in tonight. Okay? Because usually when I talk about cloning, I hit on a few things and I leave it. Because I've talked about cloning in my blog talk shows. Y'all know, especially those who've been around, right, a while, my shows and following me. But this particular show is going to be like no other, because I'm going to get right down. I'm going to tell you some things that you probably going to not believe, because most of y'all don't believe no way. It's going to be a small percentage that grab it, and y'all going to take it to the next level, which you should. But it's just puzzling to me, and I see these Hebrew camps and Kemet camps, how they're battling on these streets, and that's bullshit, man. Basically, what they're trying to do is sell damn concert tickets and go down there in Harlem, New York, and rent out venues fucking auditoriums and pack them thickly and then debate. And y'all think that's what we should be doing, right? We should have an open debate because they did this in biblical time. Look, man, just because they did it in biblical times don't make it right. They used to rape 7-year-olds. It don't make it right. Right? That's where them camps get that shit from. We're going to be raping. I ain't going to be raping no damn 7-year-old. That don't make sense to me. But just because they did it in biblical time, it doesn't make it right. The Lord let a lot of things happen, man. These dudes are battling each other over books. And the thing that kills me, you got one dude want to discuss the Bible. You got one dude want to smart the Kemet books. And I'm like, all of them got their books off Amazon. And I want to ask these fools, who own Amazon? All right? Who own Amazon? Who is the publisher of those books that y'all arguing so intimate about? Right? Think about this shit and this is who they arguing over book literature. Because ain't none of them got no spirit on them. These are just niggas. One side is Kemet and one side is what? Hebrews, supposedly. Israelites. That whole thing that y'all see on YouTube is nothing but confusion. It ain't doing nothing for nobody but a bunch of damn hoorah, a bunch of goddamn yahoos. That's all they're doing, man. Now, since I brought that out, I need to talk about some of these dudes in these camps or have the MLK syndrome. Okay, MLK is a program where they pay you a lot of money, but you got to go under their rules, meaning they're going to chip you. And you are totally submissive to what they tell you to do. You can't make me not believe. I've been looking at these guys for a long time. Hell, I started in some of them damn camps. I used to praise these elders, man. I know what I'm talking about. You are not going to get me to believe that some of these dudes in these camps are not set up to cause confusion and start a war amongst Hebrew Israelites. You can't get me not to believe that shit is clone, man. Some of these dudes are coming out the blue, out of nowhere, and they got a voice. They got this huge following out of nowhere. I just don't understand that. Come on, man. Y'all got to start paying attention to this shit. You got to look at these cats. A lot of these dudes, Israelites, okay, whatever they want to call it, Hebrew. I'm not denouncing Israelites. Don't get that twisted. But the realistic, the real matter, the point of the matter, what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. That's all for show. This is the thing that's puzzling to me. A dude come out of left field, out of nowhere, and all of a sudden everybody, he's a household name, and they keep putting him on the top pedestal. That's a dude that's set up. That ain't cause he's on fire and the Lord is with him. They're using him as a pawn, and he's agreed to be the pawn because they're going to pay him like he weigh. Y'all better wake up. You can't see the transition that was going on. Why is it all of a sudden Israelites are the top front with Kemet and they're battling? Every other video of consciousness is Hebrews and Kemet battling. Why? They want to show that the Israelites are out of control. They're radical. They can't be trusted. They're worse than the terrorists. They preach hate. They meet at these big coliseums and they battle and they talk about what they're going to do to the government. It's all set up by design. But the sad part about it is that some of these guys that's leading the Hebrew Israelite camps and these guys that's leading the Kemet numerology, black power, astrology, are agents, and they're working undercover. They're being told, you guys need to put more fire to it. You guys need to do that. They program, man. Now, see, this is why I need to talk about cloning, because some of y'all think cloning only exists in the entertainment world. That's not true. It has nothing to do with the industry. Why is cloning is needed? One of the reasons they killed JFK, because JFK decided we didn't need to clone humans. And they said, come on, Jay, stop BSing. And they saw that he was serious. It was two reasons why they killed JFK. He was against Vietnam. He felt like it was a useless war. And he found out that what they were cloning people, he wanted to expose the Illuminati. And they said, damn it, it's time for him to go. And of course, he was a white guy. How many white people don't give a damn? He cared. He's not the only one that died like that. See, I'm about to expose some of that bullshit that people keep saying all white folks are the devil. Did you not know there have been many black folks who side with Willie Lynch, the lynch of the black folk, and they was on the NAACP? Come on. Did you not know that some of them black folks led the white lynchers to black homes to get them lynched because they gave them shakoi in Hebrew, that's money? Come on. They did the same thing on the ships. They tricked the black folks to get on the ships with the Arabs and the Africans, and they gave them liquor, wine, and whores. And they did it the same elements. Even when emancipation was given, they was lynching brothers, and a lot of black brothers was leading them to houses to get them killed. Come on, man. So stop. Don't give me that bullshit. You can't get me to see that bullshit that, you know, the white man's the black man is just as devilish as the white man. The problem is the white man know who he is. He knows he's a traitor. He knows that he's working for the Zionists, the fake the Khazars, the one that call themselves Jewish, that the Esh means doesn't contain to. He knows he's being played, but he loves the fact that he's over you and all other nations. It's called forced democracy. That you have to kiss their ass for a job, kiss their ass for assistance, kiss their ass to drive on their roads, kiss their ass to shop at their malls. He loves that. But he knows he's what they call him, a gorm. This is what the rabbis and the Jewish Zionists call white people. They call them gorms. That's a man who would do anything for $1 to disgrace himself just to be over another set of people. Weak, coward. This is what the synagogues call you. So if you want to get mad, white people, get mad at your boss, your employers, who are the Zionists who employ you to oppress other nations. This is how you keep your jobs and your homes and your money in your bank accounts. It's the damn truth. They agree to all of these terms. So when the Lord get ready to pay Esau back, it's not because he's going to pay him back for his devilish ways. He's going to pay Esau back because he what? Broke the law, statutes, and commandments. Yes. And he did not abide by anything that the Lord advised him to do. Instead of cutting the man down after he hang him, after a day, they let him swing in the trees for weeks and let the birds eat him and let the animals eat him. That's what the Lord going to get Esau back for. Not because he's a white man and he's the so-called devil, because everything that Esau has done, the black man has did worse. I'm just putting it out there. Why can't you accept this shit, man? This is why it's a needle in a haystack to get through to the kingdom. You can't, I mean, we can sit here and throw stones all day and talk about the scriptures and dress up and look all cute. They both are leading you astray. It's a fucking song and dance. It's a show they putting on. And a lot of these dudes are MLK subliminal clone just to lead their group to a war. So if you thinking cloning only exists in the industry, they want anybody that can lead a people. You understand what I'm telling you? Anytime somebody tell you they'll pay for your airfare because they want to battle you and they want you to be a part of this battling, don't you take that plane ticket, man. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get there, they're going to put something in your drink. You ain't going to remember shit because when you wake up, you're going to be under hypnosis. You don't think the reptile is real? The reptile is very real. You don't think lizards from the demigods exist? The only way that these demigods can live, they have to get into a human format because their life as reptiles is only so long. They have to be able to be in a human format to live for a long time. And once they get in a human format, they clone that human over and over again. Did y'all know that Gaddafi is not dead? He was cloned. I told you, I got something for you tonight. I'm going to lay it on you because a lot of y'all think you want to hear some good stuff, but sometimes y'all just want entertainment. I'm not entertainment. I'm going to give it to you from the hip. Yes, I'm humorous because that's the way the Lord made us. We want to be able to give you some truth, but at the same time, have you have a little laughter behind it. But the truth stands alone. Behind all the BS and after the laughter, the truth still stands on its own. But tonight, I don't think I'm not in the mood for that. I just find it puzzling that this is the latest thing that's on YouTube. It's just check it out. If you can't, I can tell when somebody is cloned, man. Their dialects in their eyes, their body movement. Sometimes they get sluggish. They forget what they say. They contradict a lot of things they say. And you probably say, well, Yash, I don't get it. A lot of them don't have to listen. If they think you, they didn't clone Malcolm X, by the way. But if they think you another Malcolm X, they're going to clone you first before they kill the first you. But there's nobody else powerful like Malcolm out here, man. You understand? So I'm just making a point where if you're a person that can move people and get shit started, and like I said, they have an interest in you. When they tell you we'll fly you out, we want to have a sit down with you, they're going to put something in your drink, your food, some type way. Even when they accidentally bump up against you, they have a needle to hit you. You don't even know what it was. It feel like a mosquito bite, but they just hit you with a needle. And then 5 minutes later, you fall asleep. You don't even remember nothing. They just put a chip in your neck, man. Now you under MLK. Some of these dudes in these camps think they're important now. Like I said, when a dude come out of left field and all of a sudden he's a household name, he's a captain, he's a damn leader, and the camp elders giving him time to speak, and he's all over YouTube in his little costumes, he's set up by design. They done had a talk. They had a serious talk with the elders and said, we need somebody a little fresher. They adopted you. And they told you, we're going to pay you like you weigh. Come and celebrate. While you celebrating, you don't even remember when you went to sleep. You was knocked out cold. They put you on the MLK, and you've been doing that stupid shit ever since, battling. Going to damn Colosseums and Kemet, and then Hebrews and Kemet and Hebrew, and all of them talking about who has the truth. And all of them got their books from Amazon.com, who, by the way, is not owned by no damn Negro, and the publishers are of Kazakh descent of Judaism. They both are full of shit. Sitting there going back and forth over fucking literature. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't matter where Kemet come from. The Hebrews are here. What is the solution for this collapse? Truthfully, there is none. The only thing that you can do, and the truth to tell the people, is try to survive it. There is no 100,000 men strong. Farrakhan done lost his wits. See, I'm going to tell you something. Farrakhan is chipped. Woo. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this. Farrakhan is chipped. He got the same chipping process as Gaddafi. And I wouldn't be surprised if they clone Farrakhan and kill the real Farrakhan. And y'all probably saying, well, Yash, that don't make sense. Why would they want to kill Farrakhan and keep, because they want to work his mind? The man is very intelligent. See, a lot of times they want to keep you alive just to pimp your brain. And when they put you under hypnosis and MLK and they can chip you, you totally submissive to them. Do you know when they put a chip in your body that they can go all the way back 30, 40 years and you can tell them things that you didn't want to tell them? This is how powerful their technology is. And by the way, white men are not that damn smart. Neither are these Jewish men. They're getting all this from the demigods, Satan, fallen angels. The Lord gave Satan who? Earth. The land been given to the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? Satan. Satan have many employers out there. Cloning is one. Reptiles is another. And most of these creatures that live in human bodies are reptiles. But once they become of human, they can stay in that human body for a very long time. But if that human body were to get crashed or killed, which they wouldn't because they got powers, don't get it twisted. Okay? But if they did, they have about 5 more lined up. The first cloning may take, I think when they first clone a human being, it takes 3 to 6 months. Maybe sometimes a year, depending on the technology. But usually, with the technology they got, between 6 to 7 months to clone a human being. They need their tissues, their brain cells and all that. They'll clone a human. Okay? After that first human is cloned, they can clone you every hour thereafter. So if they want to make 20 of you, they could. If they want to make 10 of you, they could. When you saw Saddam Hussein, that was not the real Saddam Hussein. He did not die like that. You understand? They didn't have no need for Saddam. Okay? Saddam, they got rid of Saddam in the early 90s, but they were using his clones to have fun with you, to be amused. That was not the real Saddam, but he acted just like him. I got some more news for you. Done with the camps, okay? I know those are agents, and I know a lot of those elders that's talking in the front, that's leading the pack, even the ones that's working with Kemet and all them guys that's talking about the red, black, and green. Those guys are under hypnosis MLK. It just doesn't work for the industry. They also get these street preachers. They done bumped it up, brother. So when you see these guys, they're going back and forth in arenas, that shit is all orchestrated. Don't fall for the hokey doke. So let's keep it moving. Michael Jackson is not dead. I know y'all saying, well, Yash, on your blog talk, you said Michael's dead. Yeah, he is. Michael clone is dead, but Michael Jackson is not dead. Michael Jackson doesn't look anything the way he did. The slim Michael Jackson, because they know that's what y'all like. The Michael Jackson that y'all saw dancing with James Brown, that was a clone. They had to keep fixing on it because the clone was breaking down. He wasn't going into surgeries. See, clones also can't gain weight. So basically what they did, they had to keep doctoring on the clone of Michael, who was alive. The one that was dancing with Michael, or the dance with James Brown. Okay, that Michael Jackson, that wasn't the real Michael. Matter of fact, when they cloned it, Michael, that clones don't grow hair. So in other words, however they clone you, whatever you have, that's how you're going to come out. That's just how the clone produce. So in other words, if you're a person that have long hair, however they clone you, that's how the clone going to look. When they cloned Michael Jackson, his hair was never attached, because the first Michael Jackson that was cloned, his head was in a third to fourth degree burn in Pepsi commercial. He lost half his head. I mean, it wasn't gone, but it was it was very badly burnt. Michael Jackson looked like a monster. Okay, and he was still slim. So they cloned him while he was under the knife. And when they cloned him, they needed 2 years to remake him, because he didn't look nothing like Michael Jackson. I don't know if y'all can peep game. So when they cloned him, they had to make him lighter and make up this skin disease, because his skin didn't look the same. His body, they changed everything about him. In the end, when Michael was looking really, really bad, the clone body was breaking down, because clones don't think like humans. Clones have to have people around them to tell them what they do, because they get adolescence. They can't think properly. It's called handlers. Right? So when Michael started to break down, his body was breaking down. His nose was artificial. I don't know if y'all noticed. Go back and Google Michael Jackson nose. It looks like a robot, because it wasn't him. All right? His whole head was a wig. It was a cap, because when they first cloned Michael, he didn't have any hair. It all burnt off in the Pepsi commercial. They put Michael in a capsule and cloned him. Brought him back 2 years as the clone, and Michael Jackson was watching all of this like, I can't believe they're doing this. So what happened to Michael? He just lived his life. Michael Jackson is still alive. He's already appeared on TV, but y'all didn't even know who he was. Go back and watch the CNN of Larry King, the guy with the glasses, with the real bad burnt victim that played like Michael Jackson saved him when he was a kid. That's Michael Jackson. It burned him so bad it disfigured him. It tore up his skin. It did everything to him. You understand what I'm telling you? And also, after Michael was cloned, the real Michael Jackson, they bleached his skin so he would look nothing like Michael. If you look at the dude who was on Larry King telling you about his childhood, how Michael Jackson helped him, he looks just like Michael. Just look in his eyes. That's Michael Jackson. He's disfigured. That's how he looked when he got done with the Pepsi commercial. And they knew the world wasn't ready to see that Michael Jackson, so they had to keep him alive. Remember what I said prior. So Michael comes back 2 years later. He looks nothing like the real Michael Jackson, but people buy into it. He can still dance, because the clones is good mimicker. They're good at mimicking, man. That's what they do. So he got all his moves, but he was a little bit stiffer. I don't know if y'all look at the old Michael and then look at the new Michael. He's a little bit stiffer. Okay. Now, when Michael first came back, didn't nobody really know how to take it. All right. Because I can't recall if Billie Jean came out before the Pepsi commercial. But Michael sold his soul way before then, because he did the Wiz commercial when Billie Jean wasn't even thought of. When he did the Wiz play, when he said you can't get in, you can't get out the game, Michael sold his soul a long time ago, because Joe Jackson sold his children out long ago, and Joe Jackson forced his kids to have sex with Berry Gordy and Quincy Jones, and amongst the other executive producers. Them boys was molested long ago. All right? That's about Michael. I'm going to lay something else on you. I don't know if y'all ready for all this, but I hope I can get this done in an hour, but I just want to get this done. And you always know the naysayer, man, how you be knowing all this? Man, come on, man. You know this dude just be talking. But it's mighty funny. I'm just talking. Huh. But why is this coming to pass? Let's continue. Okay. I'm going to let you know something. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't even know what. Sometimes I'd be like, well, the fuck am I even doing it? Well, what's the point? Lord. All right, let me just hit y'all with this. Questions. It always comes up. Well, is cloning really going on, Yash? Is Tupac alive? Huh. Remember when I told you Tupac is dead? Yeah, Tupac did die. I was correct. I stand correct, and I quote that, and I stand by that. But years later, I found out that wasn't the real Tupac. That was his clone. Lord have mercy. I can't believe this. Sometimes, man, it's easy just to shut this shit down and walk away. Lord knows it is, man. It is just so easy to say, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. I mean, literally, I feel like that now. I feel like this shit comes in so heavy. It's like, hell, god damn, this is just mind-boggling. I mean, I know when you first hear this shit, how you feel, because I feel the same way. I'm like, this bullshit. Right? That's the first thing you're going to say. These motherfuckers of the elite, this Illuminati, these, Lord knows, the Father if the Lord has to intervene soon, because they're fucking monsters. Really? And this shit is real, man. Anybody they feel that's talented, very talented, they ain't gonna let you die. Not if you work for them. They ain't gonna let you go. They're gonna keep mimicking. The question comes up, was Hendrix ever what they call clone? That's a tough one. Because Hendrix died so fast. They really could have took Hendrix away. But they killed him so quickly. I can't really put my hands on it. And the only person I know that plays close to Hendrix was Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's the closest to Hendrix that I ever seen that could play anything. And I mean literally play any kind of way, upside down, upside right, Stevie Ray Vaughan. And the thing that's puzzling me when Stevie Ray Vaughan was alive, he said, I feel like a black man trapped in a white man's body. Then I felt like cloning been going on. Stevie Ray Vaughan was not down with no Illuminati. Stevie Ray Vaughan was not down with the cloning, so they crashed his helicopter. Do y'all hear what I say now? Now, what I'm thinking, it could have been some mishaps where Stevie Ray Vaughan they could have tried it like, okay, we're gonna leave Stevie Ray Vaughan the way he looked, but let's put Jimi Hendrix DNA inside of him and see what works. When they put you under hypnosis, MK, you can't remember nothing. Stevie Ray Vaughan just have relapse and be like, sometimes I think I'm black. And I remember these interviews that he had, how he would say, I just feel like I'm black, trapped in a white man's body. And I don't know if that resonated with you guys, but see, y'all, some of y'all young. See, I was hearing this shit back in the 90s, and I remember these interviews well. And if you want to see that, put in Stevie Ray Vaughan says he think he's black. And it may come up in YouTube. But Stevie Ray Vaughan, for you young heads that don't know, he's a damn good guitar player. And I really put him next to Jimi Hendrix. But it's just funny how Hendrix died. They killed him. Hendrix was not down with no cloning. He was not even down. Hendrix never sold his soul. And Janis Joplin never sold her soul. And the reason they killed Janis Joplin because she knew for a fact Jimmy was killed and she was going to blow the whistle. So before Janis Joplin got ready to do a concert, they killed her in a hotel room. Google it. I knew this shit long ago. I told y'all this back in my Clyde Davis video. But I'm just, for those who are new, right? So I'm telling you how they work. Sometimes they'll take your DNA and give it to another person so they can be great like you. They play with DNAs like that, but in a cloning matter, and they don't have to necessarily clone you to look like you, but they can clone you and have the same characteristics as you and have your same talents. And I really believe they took, I'm not saying that Stevie Ray Vaughan wasn't a talented man. I'm making a point how what he said resonated with me. When he said, I feel like a black man trapped in a white man, that resonated with me because he'd been thinking about that. And he has to have dreams of something because when they put a chip in you, they stop you from dreaming. You don't have dreams no more. But Stevie Ray Vaughan would say that all the time. So that tells me they had that man in a lab, cloning lab, possibly with Jimi Hendrix DNA. Now, I'm not saying that happened. But for him to always say that, he had to be under some type of hypnosis. And they had to mix some DNAs to make him great as the way he was. Because there's never been another Stevie Ray Vaughan since. I'm not saying that's not white boys can play guitar, but not in the emotion, soul factor like Hendrix. And Stevie Ray Vaughan was the only one next to Hendrix that could play like that. Y'all feel me? Like, they have underground dungeons. And these underground dungeons is not as bad as you think. They have a playground. They have fake grass. All of that stuff. They have shopping mall. I'm telling you what I know. A lot of people who you don't see no more that was once famous are living there right now. They grow old. The point of the matter is when they sell their soul, they don't want to die. That's not a one person in Hollywood have not followed the trends. You see Wu-Tang, right? You think they all hard. You don't think Method Man been in the bed with Jewish men because he have. Now, if to look at that brother, he hardcore, huh? That dude been in man, please, with transgenders as well. Kevin Gates, same thing. He's a switch hitter. He'll play hard when he come on 106. Well, what I want to say, what the Breakfast Club? He always, man, my wife, she want to play with my booty, and I was like, I ain't down with that. That's dead giveaway. Ain't nobody talking about booty. But see, a man that intertwined with other men, he brings up gay scenarios to make himself don't look gay, but realistically he is gay. But he figured if he put it out there, he protects his masculinity. But really, he is a switch hitter. Kevin Gates is bisexual. All right? And he worships Satan on a regular. He's just like the rest of them, and he drink blood. He's been cloned too. He has to go to the clone lab to get chipped. All of them been chipped. And y'all probably say, well, what's the point of chipping them? So they stay under mind control. They know what they saying. They know what they thinking. They program them. That's why when you see Al Roker, the news reporter, when Al was, y'all saw him, when he was doing that commercial, he was speaking live, and he just looked like he went into total shock. They cut his chip off. And they did that deliberately just to see, does it work? And they laughed at, oh, Lord. Everything is a joke to these guys. They monsters, man. When they cut that man's chip off, it was a laughing time. Like, look at him. You see this? Then they flipped it back on. It works. Samuel Jackson is in a movie called Kingsman. If you haven't seen that movie, you need to get it, because they're showing you how they're going to destroy half of you nincompoops with this Bluetooth shit. SIM cards. They're going to put SIM cards in a phone that's going to be destructive, and it's going to wipe out 3 to 4 billion people instantly. And y'all don't think they're going to do this, but they are. So that's a picture called Kingsman, starring Samuel Jackson. Rent it. Okay? And how they can turn off your chip and blow up your head. Yes, all that's real. Not the Rockefellers had what? 9, 10 plastic surgeries. He got a bad heart. So what do you think he's doing? He wouldn't kill somebody to get that heart. Because a heart transplant take a long time to get. They wouldn't kill somebody with the same scenario of DNA to give him that heart. Because they don't want to die. You understand? So when you see, for instance, like, look, we can go back to the late 40s and 50s. How many times have y'all saw a picture of Jay-Z that looked like Jay-Z, and now it resonated as a new Jay-Z because that was Jay-Z? Did y'all see that old picture back in the 50s? Oh, they say 1800s? And they say it looks less like Jay-Z. That's because they were freezing DNA eggs back then, man. They was freezing them. That's not a coincidence. Did y'all see the one of Nicolas Cage? Looked just like him. That is him. It's called cloning. Listen, what else? All right, the movie called Hostel. Now, I know a lot of y'all look at these Quentin films and say, well, that's just a movie, Yash. No. The movie called Hostel, it exists. This is what those rich people do. They get around each other and they watch each other. They watch people torture each other and they get off on it. I mean, they literally sit there with Dom Perignon, Cristal, whatever they want to drink, but most of them like blood. And they're sitting there in a damn high chair, or they sitting in the bleed. They sitting in comfort. It's just like a little mini stadium, man. I'm not making this up. I know you guys don't want to believe it, but I don't give a fuck. If you really want to get a glimpse of what I'm talking about, when I told you about Eyes Wide Shut, now shit coming to pass, y'all believing it now because there's too many people talking about it, blowing the whistle, right? Well, I'm telling you something about cloning. When they want to experiment on somebody, they'll make 5 clones of that one person, but take the real clone and reserve it. And then they take that copy of you and put it in an arena, and everybody want to see you bleed. They want to see you stab yourself. And then, this is the sickening part. They'll let you bleed out and then go drink your blood. And then cut pieces of you and eat it. There are some people out there that's in the Illuminati world that's very rich billionaires. They can't eat regular food because they're so hooked on human flesh. They do all this shit at the clone lab. Everything, if you want to be in Hollywood, you want to be rich, famous, you got to go to the clone lab. Sierra has been cloned. They know she is very talented dancing wise. She ain't no type of singer, but she can dance. She been cloned. That's not the real Ciara. She's under hypnosis. She been chipped. They done made 3-4 different Ciaras. They did the same thing with Janet Jackson. She been chipped and cloned too. They keep them around because they keep making revenue from them, making money. When you have sex with Janet Jackson, you're meeting her representative. That's why y'all better, men, y'all better stop being attracted to the big old booties and big breasts. I'm just telling you, if you better come with a spiritual perspective, because these women, they're not who they say they are. They're representative of cloning labs, and they're looking for righteous brothers to bring back to the lab to experiment on. And then they wipe your brain clean. A case in point, like them dudes that did that Aurora, Colorado shooting. He was under MLK. He don't remember none of that. And also they put the chip on him to make him act accordingly, but he didn't pull one trigger. There was a hitman already in there to do the killing, but they put it on him, and they was experimenting with him. It was a total hoax, but people did die. He didn't kill one person. Same thing with that white boy in the South. Y'all going crazy talking about he killed. No, he didn't. They put him under MLK as well. They chipped him. They had him under hypnosis. Before that white boy in the South, was at North Carolina, before he went in that church, look at the picture again. He had a damn vest on. They gave him a vest just in case the bullets went wrong. The man that they supposed they had killed, the so-called, he was a senator or a congressman running or whatever he was doing, the black man in North Carolina, he didn't die. They relocated him. He's living underground. They told them it could be worth $30 million if they pull this off, and I'd be damned if they didn't get it. Even his wife is not crying because she know he's still alive. Go back and look at the North Carolina pastor who's supposed to be senator / congressman. I don't know which position he was running for or who he stood for or what he was. But go back and look at the funeral shots. That was not him in the casket. That was a damn mannequin. It was a plastic doll, the same dolls that they make for celebrities, and they put them in a wax museum. That was a wax figure of the pastor. That wasn't even real, man. No, his head, I know y'all say when people die, they don't look the same, but it was a wax figure, period. Nobody in that church died. It was all a hoax, just like Sandy Hook. The point I'm making is that once they put that chip on you, they get you to do anything. And this is what they did to a lot of these so-called camps. They found somebody that's very vocal and they put a chip in their ass, and so that they can start a war amongst each other. Y'all can't see that shit? What are they arguing about? Books? It doesn't make sense, y'all. If you want to know if he under hypnosis, it's a device you can buy. It's like a scanner that you can, while he's sleeping, you know, like them thing they use at TSA. Get one of them winders and you're going to hear it. Make sure you can, keep it on low so he don't wake up, and you put a wind over his body. That motherfucker going to light up because he's chipped, and it may not be the real person. This is how they get you, man. I said it prior. They always want to invite you somewhere, and most of the time they'll pay for it. And you're going to go for it because man, I must be all right. They're paying for everything, room and board. It's in the food. They're going to serve you. They're gonna put it in your drink. And if you a person say, I don't want nothing to eat that night, and you just say he ain't eating, he ain't drinking nothing either, they got plan B. They're gonna have a beautiful girl bump up against you. She has a little needle that's gonna feel like a mosquito bite, but that's just like a pin, like a needle head she gonna hit you with. That's gonna knock your ass out within 60 seconds. You see all that James Bond shit? That shit exists, man. And while you sleeping, they put a chip in your neck, your head, or whatever they decide to put it, and you become MLK. And if you're real valuable and smart, they're going to clone you and take the real you and put you away and let your clone act like you. Okay? And that's what the people don't understand. It's not an entertainment music industry sports thing. It's everywhere. If you're a person that came out with a software that generates millions of dollars, they're coming after you. Remember that dude that made Flappy Bird or whatever that thing was called? He was getting 56 million downloads a day. They came after him. He said he ain't gonna do it no more. He pulled it. Remember I did a video on that, right? He pulled it because he was getting too much attention. The money was coming in like crazy. They drafted him and said, "You're gonna work for us." They made him come back, and they put him on the hip. He was fighting, but they met him. He went out to meet or whatever. He said he didn't want no part of him. They shot him up with some shit. He came back under hypnosis, and now they pipping his brain to make other software. He works for them now. He's in the clone lab, and they ain't let him go home. A lot of times when you hear about people that's dead, they're not dead. Gaddafi never died. Gaddafi clone died, but he never died. Oh Lord, let's keep going. Damn, I didn't think I was gonna go this long. Okay. What makes them want to clone you? A person that's all over YouTube. You know, you're becoming famous. People listening to you. And if you notice, these dudes are proud, man, poofed up. They love the spotlight. They like being on everybody's channel. They put on their little decoration, they 6-point star. First of all, when you see a 6-point star on any man that's preaching, that's supposed to supposedly be the righteous, he's already under hypnosis, because 6-point star is the indication of Judaism, which is Judaism. There's nothing righteous about a 6-point star. So when you see any man that calls himself Hebrew Israelite with 6-point stars, he's working for the Illuminati. I don't give a shit. It's just not about the industry. He's an undercover clone agent, and he's trying to start a damn war amongst Hebrew Israelites and Kemet, because on the Kemet side, they're doing the same thing too. And these people, they don't really give a shit because they're getting paid. But a lot of them are unaware what they're doing because they've been chipped. I know y'all don't want to believe, man, they ain't chipping camps. No. They just want, there's a particular person they want out of that camp. That's who they want to chip, because he's going to lead the masses that believe in him. Another guy who's been chipped is Professor Griff. This is why he can get on, talk a lot of shit, and tell so much truth and tell so many lies. Come on, man. When Alex Jones gave his book, not Haration, when Alex Jones pumped his book up, I knew that they had already got to him. He's on the MLK. Okay? Alex Jones also been chipped. You understand? So, if they get to where they don't want to be a part of that no more, they'll cut their chip off, and they'll just start having eternal pains. Speaking of pain, finish up and tell y'all why Bernie Mac really died, and why these doctors, y'all know about these doctors are just dying one by one. I'm going to tell you why they dying, and I'm going to tell you why it's not cool to be friends with celebrities. Okay? Because I've talked about this for so long, and now it's beginning to come out in the media to where people are blowing the whistle, people are tired. Like I said, I know it's hard to comprehend this, and that's fine. But I'm giving it to you off the hip. I've been talking about this forever, but I never went into details. I've always gave y'all enough, because you know why? It's a time for everything. And now this is the time. This is the last of it. Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac was killed, man. Let me just explain this. And best to my knowledge, okay? Bernie Mac sold his soul. They don't even let you see things like this until you sell your soul. So when Bernie Mac got that show, he had sold his soul. The Bernie Mac show. Then he started getting movies. But way before then, he was just doing comedian. They didn't show Bernie nothing. When Bernie started getting his feet wet, they started taking him to Pandora's box. His mind was blown. But then they put him under the oath where he won't talk. You know, throw the gold up here and there. Put your hands in pyramid. That's the oath. So as Bernie started making more money, his name became a household name. They started taking Bernie to the clone lab, because there is a thing called clone lab, and they're all over. They're not just in America; they're all over the world. All right, they control them anywhere. Rich folks, they're always in places you never think they are. It's like it could be a desert, like nothing exists, and it's this one fucking pond of water or some old trees. That's usually where it's at. It's underground. They got it, man. It's just like It's just like the movies. They telling you the truth in the movies. So nevertheless, Bernie Mac was introduced to the clone lab. They take you there. They took him there. They let him see the fights. At first, he thought it was cool, you know. It was like Eyes Wide Shut. They screwing in front of you. They doing bizarre things, man. Bestiality. You going, damn, right? But the part that tripped him out, how they showed him. They literally showed him how they clone people. They take the real person and put them off to the left and make two more of you. It blew his mind. Just like they did the dogs, the fish, all of that. He's like, wait, I'm tripping. That ain't a real person. Then they start, they stab the person to make you see they bleed. They're real. And they can feel that pain. You understand? So his mind is blown. Now, he done been a couple of times, and the only time they would be willing to put you in shackles so you don't talk, if he's not bringing revenue. But Bernie Mac is funny as hell. Bernie Mac bringing a lot of money, so they said, well, let him make movies. He ain't gonna say nothing. He know what's good for him, and who's gonna believe him anyway, right? So this was heavy on Bernie, very heavy on him, but they already had him chipped. Once they take you to the clone lab, you have to get chipped. Steve Harvey is chipped. Oprah's chipped. D.L. Hughley is chipped. Said Entertainment. That's why they don't say nothing. And this is what happened to Bernie. When Bernie started to have these conversations, they can hear everything he's saying. So they made him go into pain more. So they can put your body in pain. He said, I'm hurting. So Bernie had a talk with Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Said Entertainer because he believed he could talk to them. Like, man, we got to tell somebody about this shit, man. Cloning people? They advise them, hey, man, this shit been going on since the 40s. We're going to make our money. Steve Harvey, big lip ass, right? So Bernie was really adamant about it. It was heavy on his head. So Bernie did the King. They let him do that tour. He came back. He still was cool. But shortly thereafter, he did a movie with, I believe, with Samuel Jackson. I ain't for sure. And he was still good, but shortly after that movie got done, he kept bringing it up. So Steve goes and rat him out. Well, they knew what he was saying, but Steve was like, he's becoming a problem. So they hold a meeting without Bernie. And they asked D.L. Hughley the same thing. Hey, what is he saying? He's saying that we gotta expose this. Okay. They amped his chip up. Because the chip controlled every vital sign in your body, Bernie got real sick, went to the hospital. And they knew what was going on. Steve Harvey knew, D.L. Hughley knew, Said the Entertainer knew that they ratted him out, and he knew that death was coming. They knew death was coming. Bernie wasn't assured at the present time, but when he started getting real sick, he said, these motherfuckers doing this to me. But Bernie did tell his wife what was going on, and she been scared shitless ever since. And they didn't want him to tell her too much, so they turned it all the way up and killed him while he was in the hospital. And they didn't have to be there. They did it by remote control. That's how cloning works, and that's how the chip works. It works by remote. So somebody could have been acting like a janitor or acting like they dare to see their loved one, could have been sitting in a weight room and hit the remote to turn his chip up to send him to fatal, which is death. That's how Bernie Mac left here, being ratted out by Steve and DL. All them niggas so fake, man. Y'all probably saying, well, they probably knew anyway. That's not the point, man. If I come to you because we just did the King's Economy, I feel like I can talk to you because Bernie wasn't kissing Steve's ass. All them niggas kissed Steve's ass. So Bernie have a man-to-man say, man, you think that shit right? Look, man, this is Steve. Look, man, whatever they doing, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Like my mama always say, mind your business. And all of them co-signing DL and Said the Entertainer. Yeah, Steve right, man. Steve right. And here goes DL Hughley. I understand what you're saying, Bernie, but at the same time, man, they've been doing this shit since the 40s. For us to put our nose in that, man, we gotta check. We gotta feed our family. All that type of shit. And I told you, beware of a nigga that always get that hot, alto voice. That's a nigga you don't want to trust. But Bernie, it was weighing on him because they kept inviting him back to the club lab, the clone lab. He kept literally seeing people die before his eyes. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, rent the movie Hostel. It may be kind of hard to find, but you probably can see it for free on the internet. Just Google Hostel. And everything that you see in that movie is what they do in the clone lab. And he was watching this. He was like, man, this is crazy. Right? Whitney Houston, she also had to pass away because she got tired. She didn't want to do it no more. She was chipped. All they did is cut her chip off. And they put her face down in the water. Bobby Christina was chipped too. They killed her the same way. Now, to let us know that Bobby Christina's death was, as we said, let us know Bobby Christina's death was not an accident, but it was a ritual. When they took Bobby Christina out, the damn Hertz or whatever the damn car was, right? And they got ready to wheel her body into the morgue or whatever. It was a church. I don't know where exactly the place was, but to let us know that it was an actual ritual, they had 2 Egyptian unks out there. I don't know if y'all peep game. They did the same thing with Whitney Houston. Now, you telling me that this was an accident, and now they're saying it's a boyfriend that did it? No, he's a fall guy. And by the way, they already done shot him up with some MOK. He's totally submissive. Whew, Lord have mercy. Have y'all been hearing about these doctors? The doctor that found the cure for cancer, the doctor that's found the cure for measles and all these other MMR. Yeah, they found a cure for MMR because it's man-made anyway. The doctors, they've been killing them. Why are they killing these doctors? Number one, the doctors don't want to be a part of this cloning. They didn't want to be a part of not telling the public that there's a cure for cancer. They found a cure, man, for cancer. One of the doctors got ready to reveal it. They killed him before he could do it. They found a cure for MMR to give kids autism. Did y'all know this? And they've been killing these doctors one by one. And all of these doctors didn't want nothing to do with the cloning lab. They was totally against it. They all got ready to speak on it. And they pretty much killed them off because a lot of doctors that are high end been chipped. A lot of these doctors that's been getting killed, they have the chip in them. I don't know if y'all know that. See, I told you white folks do anything for money. And if y'all taking that literally, I don't know what to tell you, because if you're a person with a lot of money, how do you get your money? How many brotherhood meetings you go to and you hear about these things and you ignore it? Most white men that have a lot of money, and I'm talking millions, they're already under MOK, and the MOK is nothing but cloning, and they got the chip in the back of their neck or their forehead, whatever, and when they get out of pocket and they don't do what they're supposed to do, they cut their chip off and they die of a heart attack, aneurysm, however you say that word, or some type of craziness that they can blame it on anything. A lot of y'all want to say, well, did Pimp C get cloned? No, Pimp C was killed. He didn't want to clone him. They don't want it. They didn't like him no way. So, no. I don't know who else I can think. I know I forgot some people, and that's just the way that is. That's been so many people. Elvis Presley didn't die in that casket. Elvis Presley was under a drug of hypnotic that paralyzed his body for 4 to 6 hours. And he was removed and lived underground. Okay? Like Adolf Hitler, they cloned that. Adolf Hitler never died. He died in Brazil of old age. Steve Jobs didn't die when they said he died. They cloned him. Okay? Steve Jobs was last seen in 2014 in Brazil. Still kind of sick because they can't stop the sickness. But he was still alive. Yes, they cloned Steve Jobs, if you want to know, yes. And they also cloned Warren Buffett. They cloned Microsoft, man. What the hell his name is? Bill Gates. All them guys been cloned. So a lot of times, that's not necessarily the real Bill Gates. The real Bill Gates, they working his brain to death in a lab. He ain't came up yet. He's underground. See, when they put you under these deep hypnosis, you don't even be submissive. You just do what they tell you. Oprah Winfrey is under MOK, and that's not the real Oprah. That's not the real Alicia Keys. That's not the real Lenny Kravitz. Okay? I can't. Now, Chris Brown hasn't been cloned, but since he's been talking so much, they're going to clone him. And I believe they clone him when he's in the Philippines. But we'll see. Because Chris Brown is so outspoken, he may just tell it like it is if he can get in his right mind. But when Chris Brown was in the Philippines, they might have cloned him. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be gone. Who is Chris Brown's handler to get him cloned and chipped? Rihanna. Now notice that Chris right now when they start putting people around you every other day, that's not Chris Brown. That's a reptile in Chris Brown that's controlling him. In other words, that's a demigod, that's a demon of alien descent, but it's really reptilia, which is like a lizard, but they have to live in human format. And we'll know. How do you know that Chris is a clone? Because he's going to have somebody with him 24/7. He can't be alone. Whenever a celebrity has to have somebody living with them or with them, that's because the clone can't work by itself. It has to have somebody with them. And what struck me really weird when Rihanna said that she wants to be at Chris Brown's hearing when he gets ready to do his child support. I thought that was kind of weird. Rihanna is Chris Brown's handler, and she's been told that this is not real Chris Brown. This is going to be his cloning. Celebrities are trying to make friends with you. That's why they come in on Facebook. They come in on Twitter. And they're trying to be friends with you guys and have you guys meet them certain places so they can have a get together because you've been so loyal. The celebrities also know about the sex torture, much like the movie Hostel. They watch the sex tortures. Okay? Notice everybody that becomes an entourage of a celebrity wind up being killed or never heard of again, kidnapped, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? They need friends. And I've been saying this and I'll say this again. The hit is females. They're looking for a lot of females because these old, decrepit, nasty men wants to have sex with these women and then cut them up and eat them at a damn barbecue. And I know that sounds pathetic, but there's some men that can't eat food. They want flesh. Take it any way you want it. I hope this show enlightens some of you, but some of you still going to be stupid as fuck. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Father, the viperness is necessary, Father. And if I'm wrong, forgive me. But if the viper stands, the hell with them all that don't understand your comings. Barakatah.